Hi, everyone. Welcome to Digital Choice Boards. I hope everyone's doing well today. Um, Today's session is going to be about choice boards and how to use them, how to take ones that might already have and adapt them. And if you see me looking over off screen, that's because I'm trying to read your comments as they come through. Allison will cue me in for some good ones, but if you have any questions as we go through, please let me know. As always, this slide presentation will be available in Canvas at the end of the presentation. So we're going to get started. So what is a digital choice board? It's differentiated instruction. Most of the time it's found at the end of a lesson as a wrap up. It's a menu of choices. It's a graphic organizer, and they have been around for years and years and years in the paper pencil format. A lot of you may have already used them. Tic-tac-toe boards. This image is a little bit blurry, and I do know that, but they are just pictures. But I'm sure you've seen the tic-tac-toe boards where you'll pick three, make three in a row, or you have a menu. So here's the main dish. You have to complete all of these tasks. Here's a side dish. You got to complete two, and you only get one dessert. And so menus are another way that these have already been out for years. As for differentiation, of course, Carol Ann Tomlinson, it's at the core of instructions. We have to address all learning styles, all students, and we have to give them, it's the power of choice. If we want our kids to be engaged, we have got to give them those options. So why choice boards? It's flexible. You know, you can look at it and say, okay, here's this learning path, and they can choose. You're going to reach more learners because, you know, I am a person who is not very comfortable getting in front of a camera, believe it or not. And I don't know that I would want to record myself, but I could draw a picture. So you're going to reach more of your learners. Obviously, student choice, it's student-centered. All those learning styles are adapted. Technology, it's way more flexible now that we can use technology. Everything is in one place. You don't have to go from place to place to place to find it. It's there. And this is perfect for e-learning because, like I said, it's in one place. So how do we create this? First thing you're going to do, like all good lessons, is you're going to start with the end in mind. What is it I want my students to know how to do? As a former science teacher, we did energy transformations, and I want to make sure my students can explain energy transformations and know, how it goes from one type of energy to another in all the different types. So we're going to be working with an energy choice board in a little bit, so that's why I bring them up. You're going to say, okay, what is it? What are the different styles of learning? Are my students kinesthetic? Are they audio? Are they visual? Are they read-write? Are they multi-sensory? What kind of learning styles? You're going to look and design your task. And then you're going to decide how many tasks that they are going to complete. And then you're going to create your rubric. Now, let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to do any of those things. We're going to Google choice board energy transformations, and we're going to be done with it. And we're going to find one that was a paper pencil, and we're going to adapt it. So hopefully those things were thought about beforehand, but realistically, we're going to find one that's already pre-made. So that's what I'm going to show you what I did next. So first thing I did, this is my original energy choice board. And I'm going to open this up for you guys so you can see it. And what this is this is an energy choice board that I gave to my students when I taught science. And they had to choose 3 activities to form a winning tic-tac-toe. And there's a whole bunch of different things. If you notice, it's like email me, draw pictures, use a Frere model, just different things that you would normally do, okay? And then I gave them an extra 10 points for neatness and following directions and all of that. So they had a 100-point project. So this was my original. And I'm wondering if you guys can see that. I'm not sure. Okay, yep, that's what I thought. So if I open up in the preview, we can do it this way then, because it's in here. Sorry about that, folks. Here it comes. There it is. So this is my original one. I forgot the preview mode had to be So that's my original tic-tac-toe board. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you my working copy. So I'm like, okay, so now I'm going to look at this and say, what can I do digitally? So for this Frere model, I'm like, oh, I've got a Google slide. That's a Frere model. We'll just continue doing that one. This crossword puzzle, yeah, I'm not making them do a crossword puzzle, but I could use the program Quizlet, and they could pick 8 to 10 words, and they could make a Quizlet set. Same purpose. I want them to know the words. I don't want them to know the meanings. Quizlet sets will do the same thing. Comic strip. Okay, they can still do that digitally, real easy. And I just threw in some things I knew that could be used to make a comic strip. And I'm making a poem. That can be done digitally as well. They could upload a video of themselves. They could use Adobe Spark, which is a fantastic program for creating videos. Or they could do, it's not Bookmaker, it's Book Creator. And they could use that to make their book. Mini Machine, same thing, but instead of uploading it, they'd make their machine, they'd videotape it, they'd upload their video. Okay, it says write. This one was a little bit different. It says write a paragraph. Well, I don't know that I want them to write a paragraph, but I love infographics because they're really simple for students to use, and all the information's with pictures and brief titles and words. So I want them to do an infographic. Same thing here, energy transfer photos. This one says take your phone or camera, or they can still do the same thing, but they could just use icons. And they could do it in infographic as well, instead of just taking the pictures. Write a paragraph explaining how to do potential kinetic energy. I'm like, okay, they could do this in Docs, or they could do this in Flipgrid. And then Facebook page. I actually have a Google template for a Facebook page, and a Snapchat page, and a Twitter page. So any of those social media pages, I've got a Google Slides template. So, okay, we could do that. So that was my little notes to myself of what to do. I know I added a whole bunch of different programs like the Adobe and the Quizlet. I'm going to be honest with you. Stick to with what you know. Every single one of these things could be done in Google. So if you're not familiar with Quizlet and your students aren't familiar with Quizlet or Powtoon, and you know it's like everything's virtual, so we're not going to be able to have that direct instruction, stick with what they know. If they know how to work Google, let them do it all in Google. So that was my trial, okay? So now let's hope I can get to my final product preview here. Oh, darn it. Okay, so I'm going to have to see if I can, let's see here, share. Nope, it's not going to let me do this. So I'm going to see if I can pull this up in a preview so you guys can actually see what I did. Let's see here. Nope. Of course not, because my preview is not going to get any bigger. Let's see if I can do something here to make it so I can actually see this in the preview mode like I want to. Nope, it's going to keep popping up the way I don't want it to. So, nope. Anyway, in the presentation, you can open it up and see what I did. I made it as a Google slide. I put a background in it, as you can kind of see. And I have instructions on there, and then everything is linked. So if I had a Frere model, it actually, when you click on the link, it takes it to the Frere model. It takes it, when I did the infographic, I actually linked it to a link so that they could see what an infographic was and see some examples. So I have everything linked in the document. I would not share it as a slide with students. I would share it as a PDF. Only because then they can't mess with it and the links are still live. So that's how I took a paper pencil one and I created from one I already had, and I made it into more that for the digital world. I'm gonna look over and see if there's any questions right now. All right. Well, Not seeing anything, so hopefully there are no questions at this point in time. All right, so what I've done here is each one of these has a different, see, now this is a social studies possible choice board. This template is included. And this is one I just kind of created. I know it's kind of small. So what you have on this choice board, it's a little small to see, and I apologize for that. It says explore all. So this is step one. You have to do these three things. So it's like read the information, watch the video, explore this website. And I have links to everything the students have to do. But then they get to choose one of 4 things in order to show their learning. And if they go to, they click on create a digital poster, it's going to take them to the next slide. You have instructions, and then they create this, they create the slide, and they upload the link to this particular slide, or they upload it to, and for this one, what I would do is I would make a copy for each student. So each student has this, and then they could create their document and turn it back into you. So that's a social studies one. An English one, this one I found and I stole from somebody else. That's why it has their person's name. This is for figurative language. And they said they have to get 100 points a week. Each square is worth 20 points. Do one each day. And they have different options for the students to do. And they ask that they turn in all the assignments at once. So this is an example of one for English. I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to pull up this next one because it is a PDF, and of course it's small. The November one, what it is it's a PDF of a whole bunch of different equation activities, and the students have to pick 2 of them. And it's for the whole month of November, but it's all the different things that they're working on. The world languages one here is actually a website, and it has a list of different activities in a world language that the students have to do. One of them, I thought, oh, there's my bell, sorry. In 5 minutes, you're going to hear another one. In the world languages one, what's really cool is what they do is, like, for example, says turn your phone and make your phone into French for the day, and explain what it was. You know, it's a really cool thing, and you could develop that into a choice board as well. So like I said, unfortunately, I picked the wrong thing when I picked share screen. So you can't see all my tabs. You can only see this tab. Sorry. Okay, so I have already got a bunch of templates for you guys. So if you want to create a digital choice board, I have got a whole bunch of different ways that you can do this. First one is Casey Bell. And this is just a basic template. It's real simple. It's in Docs. So when you download it, it'll be there. And you put the numbers, you put what their activity is. It's a real simple one. Nothing exciting. Then I have, this one is one of my favorites. This one's really cool because these are different themes. So I know some of us like to do that. I know some of us don't. But these are Google Slides. And it goes through and it has different pictures in the back. So, you know, those of us who want to do something a little different and don't want the same boring background, this one's really great with your 9 choices. Tom Spall. This is more for the menus where you have do this activity, then do this activity. You have to make, obviously, a copy of it. But what's really cool for this one is he gives you instructions and says, okay, so here's your entrees. Here's what you have to do. Here's your appetizers. Here's your beverages. And then when you click on these links, it takes you to the Google slide and your instructions for the Google Slides. So he's got this all set up for the different things that you could do. And you, like I said, you just download it, make a copy of it, give him credit for it at the end, and you're good to go. He also, I know a lot of our kids are into Fortnite. So he actually has a Fortnite one where, and he goes through and explains it and how to make the copy. And then what he does is, like, all these yellow ones are your G Suite tools. So anything that's a Google Suite, if you click on it, it's going to take you to that. There's non-digital options. And then there's some teacher-led things and then some web-based things. And you just plug in your stuff and you go right ahead and they get to pick. Then the other one is the choice board that I showed you with the social studies. And there's a copy of that. And that is from the ICE conference that I went to in 2018. And then if you want some other templates, Slides Mania actually has some literally fantastic choice boards, and you get to pick a Slides Mania choice board here. So that's awesome as well. So how come I didn't do that last time when I tried to get to the bottom of this screen? Who knows? All right. And then if you go to Casey Bell and if you click on this link down here, you can actually sign up for her website, and she actually will send you a PDF copy of this book. For copyright issues and the fact that the website said please do not share, you can turn off the notifications from her things, but she has this whole wonderful, sorry about that, she has this whole wonderful information about choice boards and templates and instructions and how-tos, and she's absolutely fabulous. So do we have any questions yet?
Yeah, so how do students turn in their choice board?
I was going to get to that, yep.
Okay. And are there ones for business or written in French?
Okay, so the foreign language ones, you could probably Google business. I didn't think to look at that one. Foreign language ones, there's tons of them out there. I don't know if they're written in French per se, but I know that there's ones out there for foreign language. So you would have to do some Googling, okay? So as for turning in, and I was gonna go over how to do that. And of course, I am sharing. Hey, Allison, can I share another tab the way I have this set up, or do I need to unshare and then reshare? If I stop sharing my screen? All right, so I'm gonna unshare, and then I'm gonna share my screen again so you can see everything. Oh, there's my 5-minute bell. So you're gonna see everything now, sorry. So it might get a little crazy. So if I was doing this through Google Classroom, this is kind of a personal choice. I mean, it kind of depends on how you want students to do this. One of the ways, as I'm slowly opening my Google Classroom, all right, so here's my tutorial class. And I would create an assignment. And all right, so choice board. And I'm going to add from my drive. I don't know if my recent one's going to show up or not. Hey, there it is. All right, so I'm going to add my digital choice board that I want the students to do. So they're going to have this PDF, and they're going to have their choices. And my instructions, and this is just how I would do it, I would do it one of two ways. One, I would say upload all 3 activities at once. And and I would make sure that the students could upload, obviously they know that they can upload more than one thing. The other option, and this is because I'm a Google Forms person, I would possibly create a Google form and say, okay, what was your first activity? Upload your file. What was your second activity? Upload your file. Third activity, blah, 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 blah. And then I would have them turn in the form. The other option is instead of doing a PDF, what you could do is you could add the actual document itself. Of course, I'm going to go real slow here. And you could actually do the digital choice board, and I would make a copy for each student. So each student would have their own copy. And then you could say, add a link to the square, and they could link their activity to the square, and they could make it that way, and that way they could turn in the slide and you could click on the link to grade it. It's kind of one of those personal choices that it's like, what's going to work best for you? And what works best for you is not necessarily going to work for somebody else. With the rubric, tomorrow, Megan Damerl is going to be doing about grading in Google Classroom, and she's going to go over this rubric function here and using a rubric. Let me tell you, it's fabulous. If you haven't used it yet, watch Megan tomorrow. She's going to explain that to you. But that way you can grade with your rubric right here in Google Classroom. So did that cover those questions? Did I miss anything? Yes, no? Do I have any more questions?
My mic is always muted.
I know.
Music class ones. And then I just bought one from Teacher Pay Teacher. Do I give every student a copy? So you may have answered that one though.
As for Teachers Pay Teachers, it kind of depends on what they said you're allowed to do with it. If they say that all students can use it, then I would say, yeah, do it. But it kind of depends on what their decision is. And once again, for music, I'm sure it's out there. If you Google choice boards, digital, or just choice boards or tic-tac-toe boards for music class, you can do that. I know I would help my teachers, it's like, but what's your end product? What do you want them to be able to do? And if you always start with that way, if you reach out to your DIS, they're going to be able to help you think of apps and different things that you can do to get that going. All right. Anything else before we go on?
I think the positive is that you can always use the templates you find and just change the content to match what you want it to be as well.
Right. And that's why I gave you these different templates here. So that way you could actually, it's like, okay, I kind of know what I want to do. And you can just use the template to create. So paper pencil ones, I actually linked you to some paper pencil ones. This one here is kind of elementary-ish, and since I now have the other screen and I can show you this screen now because I changed my settings, this one goes through and shows you all kinds of different things, gives you some different, but like rocks and minerals, scientists, skeletal, there's some math ones, and then they talk about the non-negotiables. And there's all kinds. I like this because it tells you the different tasks. So this is one that you could possibly pull from. Okay. The other site, this one's called Extension Menus. This is a PDF, I believe. Nope. This is from obviously another school district, bless their heart. Like I said, we share, but it looks like we've got EL, math, science, social studies, they've got architecture. So there's a pay down loans. So there's a home ec class or possibly business. So there's some things here. Like I said, I tried to give you as many different resources as I could, just to make your life just a little bit simpler. This is a packet. And like I said, these are pencil paper. I'm trying to see if there's anything for science or any of the different ones that we asked, like business, figurative language. Nope, this one's going to be just as the planner one. There's quadrilaterals. I don't know if there's anything for, I was thinking the business and the music. And then Call to Pedagogy has another really great information about different menus as well. But Googling is going to give you a whole bunch of information. Yeah, this is kind of basically the same ones. So try to give you a lot of different resources on that. Any other questions? I know I covered a lot, but I do want to give you your time about how you're going to do, value that. So any other questions? Oh, okay. So Rebecca, with your the one from Teachers Pay Teachers, what kind of format is it in? Because usually when they do choice boards on Teachers Pay Teachers, they actually say you can have student copies of them. It kind of depends on what the format is. I don't know if it's in Word, if it's a PDF, or what it is. If it's a PDF, reach out to your DIS and they can get that PDF to be into a slide or something. So, any other questions there? I'm not seeing any. Like I said, that's what I've got. If you guys have questions, please ask. Like I said, I tried to give you as much information as I possibly could. I'm going through to make sure I have anything. Oh, I can show you my final product now. Now that I've actually unshared and done it correctly. So here's the final one of the Google or the energy one that I made. Once it finally comes up.
So while it loads.
There it is. At least on my screen it is.
It is.
It'll pop up on yours eventually, I'm sure. There it is. So this is my, I've got a link to the Frere. I've got a link to the infographic. I gave them actually an example, but I also said you couldn't use this one. I told them they could submit it for Flipgrid. And I just kind of changed it up just a little bit. So that way the kids, it would be more friendly to them. Like this Quizlet is actually a link to Quizlet. So I tried to hyperlink everything so they would have it. All right, Allison, back to you. Anything else?
So Lynn did an amazing job with the pedagogy behind choice boards and templates for you, and making sure we have it accessible to all of our students, learning preferences, things like that. If you are interested in making your own templates, if you watch Barb's, which I know it says elementary, I know, it'll be okay. She goes through step-by-step on how to create one. So,
and if somebody really wants me to do it, we have time, I can go ahead and explain how. It's totally up to you guys. If not, I understand you guys have been overloaded and you guys have been working so hard this past week. And I'm just like, I'm so impressed that I'm part of this community. So you guys are fantastic. So.
Yes. I'm not seeing any other questions.
Yeah.
I like Catherine's comment about using choice boards to rationalize the use of our standards, so that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So a lot of student choice, student voice, they're awesome. And if you can find one that you can use or change up, I used Playlist for my writer's workshop. So I used it for everything in an English classroom.
Yeah.
So cool. Everyone's just saying thank you. They're going to appreciate their
There are a few minutes of
time. Yes.
You get to run to the restroom and take a break and stretch and all that fun stuff before your 3 o'clock meeting.
Or start searching for choice boards.
Or you can start searching for choice boards. And now I'm going to have to look into those music ones just because I might have to add that to my slideshow.
Yeah. Remind me and I will share mine with you.
Okay.
Cool. So again, this video will be posted to our YouTube channel. It takes about 24 hours to process. So give us a little bit of time. Until then, Lynn's slide deck is on Canvas.
It will be.
It will be.
It will be. It will be.
It will.
I think I'm going to make a couple changes to links so they're forced copy for a couple things. But other than that, it'll be there, I would say, within the next 20 minutes.
Perfect. All right. Have a great day, everybody.
All right. Have a great one.